Ladies and gentlemen, holy smokes, having some trouble living that lackluster life. You know it's true. You know it's true. How are you? Just got a dirty shirt out of the closet. That's what I get for painting things. How are you? Goodness sakes. Got the invite on its way. Let's go. Boom goes the dynamite.
The next
Gentlemen.
Next episode of Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Dude, you guys caught me, man, in the middle of making windows for bug number 2.
I have made a lot of progress on the big Chevy.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks good.
I drove it.
What?
Yep. I drove it today.
And how'd it do?
Pretty good.
Yeah, sweet. Is it ready for Saturday?
I mean, ready enough.
Yeah.
So it's mounted. I need to do I'm printing another driver off because the guy I did was too little. And it'll be done at midnight. I got to do my wing windows. And man, honestly, it's so nice not having the regular like side windows in because you almost need a way to grab these things.
Yeah, dude, I'm not putting. All I'm doing is the windshield and I think the back window of this bug truck, and that's it.
I get it, man. And then I'll show you guys later. The wooden bed and the battery box is built too.
But you have been busy.
Yeah, man.
I'd say I haven't heard a whole lot out of you this week, so I figured you were either busting butt at work or busting butt on both trucks.
All that, man. And we had baseball. I mean, it's lacrosse and baseball happening.
Right.
Now the grass is growing too. So there's those types of things.
Exactly.
Dude, I'm so close and pretty pumped up about this battery box and stuff. Lights are in. I came up with a really cool piece to mount the front.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Maybe we'll show it later.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
I'm fairly proud of that, actually.
You should be, because if it works, that's awesome.
I told you before that it messed up my wheel arches to use that piece.
Oh, you didn't? I don't think you told me that.
I did a while back that it was gonna move me up more and then mess up all my arches.
Oh yeah.
I designed the clearance I needed to have that not be an issue.
Nice.
Bro, it fits so good. It's unbelievable. It fits so good that I can't get the body off unless I undo the bolts in the back of the bed also, so I can move it up.
Dude, that's awesome. Isn't it fun, man, to like design something and actually get it to work when us two knuckleheads don't know anything about CAD?
I might take it apart and show the piece because I do need to get in. And I've got it together. Like I said, I drove it. It's mounted. The only thing I got to do, I'm just going to give a sneak peek right now. And then I'm sure I'll have to show again later. But hey, look at that. All I got to do is cover the shock towers up. I got my wood bed and my tool box in there.
So how big of a battery can you fit in that wood box? Are you still gonna run?
Oh yeah, 5003S, dude.
Oh, slick.
All day. Check it out. So the lid, there's the lid. I can't decide if I'm gonna stain this stuff or not. But
Dude, that looks so good.
look at that. That's the battery goes in there, man.
That's a great idea, honestly. It makes complete sense.
And I'm making it where, and look, see this little notch on the back?
Yeah, so it tongues in.
Look at the contour on it.
Ha!
So it contours under that molded in bedside.
Come on.
And then tension fit. See this piece here?
Yep.
That tension fits right at the front of the toolbox, and it'll stay. I'm gonna still do something extra, but I've learned we want easy battery change. Look at the mill marks. I don't know. Look, can you see the mill marks and the cut marks from ripping these on a table saw?
Not on the camera, I can't.
There you can, a little bit. Anyway, it's one bias just ripped in about 3/16 thick.
That's crazy. Bro, you know what? As much as we terrorize on these trucks in the water, dude, you should seal it somehow.
I put clear on the Ford.
Yeah.
And I thought this blonde color natural wood, if I cleared it, would look good with this green. But you know what else would look good? That dark stain I got. And
that's what you should do.
You saw the accents on the so yeah, once I cover the shock towers, I'm good. I'm still trying to decide how I want to do it, but the windows are in. You can see the dashboard is kind of like brown. The seats are brown. This thing is so stupid heavy though, man.
Yeah, that brown on the interior looks great.
It looks good because you kind of see it in the patina and all that.
Yep.
I gotta stand up to do any of this. There you can see the seat. It's the same brown as the dash.
Yep.
And I got a loose, too small mat in there right now. But yeah, it's going to be all right. I actually everything fits. It's mounted up. I still need to glue the fenders in.
You guys probably can't see. It's too dark.
You know what the thing is, too, is they look so much. I've been looking at this thing on the bench so long. When I saw it driving today, I took it out at lunch. And I was like, oh, my gosh. In the sun, outside, it looked so good to me.
Isn't it funny how natural light just looks so much different?
And what else is funny is, like, I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I like this or not. And then I drove it, and I was like, I like this. I still got to get my rear bumper on. There's a lot to do. You know what? And I wanted to talk to you, but I'm like, you know what? We got the show coming on, so I'll just wait. But we're going out of town, and I was thinking I'm going to get this done and film this thing at France Park.
Yep.
And then I was thinking maybe I should take the Ford instead, something I don't mind beating on.
Bro, you know what? I'm take both. Because here's the thing.
Just take the other body?
Yep, because at some point I'm taking this brown bug truck because I want to get video of it. I want to get video of the Blazer body. So I'm taking the Blazer body. And I'm taking I'm taking both chassis. The other one will have the orange Land Rover on it. So I kind of want to. I'm thinking we could do a loop around that Corey, and then switch out bodies, and then do another loop because it doesn't take that long to make that run.
Right, and on the first loop, we can actually kind of, in a way, decide where we want to spend the time. Like maybe we take the ones we want to baby first.
Yep.
and then get them out of the way, and then go back and thrash with the beaters. Because, bro, 2 bolts and unplug 1 servo lead.
Yeah, you're done.
And I put the other body on.
Right, exactly. So that's why I'm saying I'm gonna do a switcheroo on the bodies at some point. So just toss your bodies in the car, we'll go, and we'll just switch them out. And
you know what's awesome now too, since I've been playing with Tinkercad more, that quick mount that I use on the Ford, it fits perfect in between where the light bucket. I didn't have. It just fit the way it was. But now I know. Okay, I can add a plate on the back because it's just butt joint glued in between these, and it runs this way. And it's butt joint glued. You've seen it.
Yep.
And it's fine. And it's actually kind of nice because it can break, and then you can just replace it and not mess up the front clip. So I don't know if I want to just keep doing that because it's working. But dude, I know a little bit what I'm doing now, enough to beef that up and make it bigger, because I don't need it to attach the way they intended it to attach, but I already know it's right on the width, and the clip is perfect where it is. I need to put a plate on the back or stretch it out and make it a little beefier, and that'll be sweet. And speaking of, so this is the stock file piece.
Yep.
That you would put in front of the Chevy, and then get your arches scaled, unless you're an idiot like me and you do it first without this. So if I use this, it screws up where my wheels sit in the arches. And you know what else? Because the way I did the Ford, where I actually had something to mount to for that clip, there's nothing but a big old round empty spot in front of this Chevy. It's like, what in the world? You did a good idea. I actually asked for the file, but you didn't see my text, because I was going to use the one you designed with the clip already on it and see where it put me.
Right.
I kind of already knew, though.
It probably put you too far forward, right?
It wasn't going to be where I needed it to be, because I would have had to adjust what you gave me.
Yep.
But bro, so that's the stock one.
Yep.
That you print the file. And then my first one, I added that piece in and 2 pins.
Yep.
Perfect.
Nice.
Except it was still too far forward. So you can kind of see where the pins lie almost on top, right?
Yep.
So then, well, this one, I set him in a little bit more, but this is a better one. But it still wasn't right. So the one that's in the truck now, these pins are almost embedded in there.
For strength.
Yep.
You can print it off.
and for depth. And then this piece here on the front is in the way. So I cut it up in the software. Yep. And then I clearanced out these negative spaces here, because that's right where the stock cross member holes for the pins are.
Yep.
So, bro, like I said, I can't get this on unless the bed is off and I come in from the front and then drop the back down.
Yep.
Because just like before I had any of this, those little pin receivers were into the grill, nestled perfectly right there every time.
Yep.
That's why I can't come down on it. I was a little bit bummed out because I made this awesome piece. It fit perfect. And then I'm like, because I was thinking about the hinge thing in the back or whatever, and it wasn't going to work because I can't lift it up because it keys in so good. But that's not a problem. So, yeah, the reason I so these pins work. They fit in the stock location. This extra added rectangle.
Yep.
I actually had to raise it up a little bit too because of the cross member that's in there.
I was gonna say, you probably did.
Just about 4 or 5 millimeters.
Yep.
So now this sits perfectly down on the stock cross member.
Nice.
The pins are in. The stock chassis pin receivers are nestled perfectly into the grill just a little bit. And I screwed through the bumper mount locations into this rectangle. So if the pins break, I'm still in.
Dude, that's crazy.
Bro.
I mean, super strong, you know? You're doing things way better than what I am with
I'm in a couple different ways.
Right.
And the pins for me are more of an alignment, less not really a strength. But dude, the piece I have now, and with that extra cut, dude, it's just I don't know if I lucked out or what, but I had to make 3 of them to get it right.
So are you planning on using that same type of technique on everything going forward? Like, are you going to do that to the big trimmers truck somehow?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Because now you know your dimensions, you know where you need to be, so it's going to be a lot easier.
And it would be a lot easier in Fusion than Tinkercad too, by the way. Yeah. Because you can plot those lines and center everything up. I'm 3 millimeters off a center. It's because I'm using kindergarten CAD, bro.
Right. Did you download that free version of Fusion?
Yeah, but when I try to mess with it, I can't. I still don't get it.
You should send me that file that you made of that one and see if I can pull that into Fusion.
All it needs is centered, bro. Just a little tiny bit. It needs centered and, well, if it's centered, that will work. And the pins, I had to kind of sand on them and file them to get them to go. So they're a little tight. They could come out just a tick. Dude, literally like 3/4 of a millimeter or something. and well, I didn't want to drill out the pins. I could have just easily cleared it on the stock mount, but I'd rather leave that and then just work the things I'm making. And honestly, I didn't care if the pins broke because once I had them in and then tap through the
right, you have
bumper mounts.
Yeah, your alignments there.
Because the bumper mount already has the holes.
Right. Yep.
For those big grub screws.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
use it. Yeah, because I took the mounting holes, the brackets that you're using for the pins. I took those off of mine, both of my chassis. I took them both off because I didn't want them on there because I'm just using the clips.
Yeah, for the Ford, I don't use them except for the extra zip tie added assurance, which has proved helpful a couple times.
Zip tie certified.
They're cheap, man. You can just cut them. But I'm slowly just trying to repeat it. If I ever made another Chevy, that's what I'm doing. I'll send you that file because
send it to me.
You should be able to ungroup it because right now it's a group. It's one item. You know what I mean? That looks awesome.
Dude, bro, this thing is so ugly. I gotta tell you, I mean, you can see all the lines, the print lines in it. I don't care.
What?
Dude, I wanted it down dirty. This is my thrash and bash wagon, man. You know?
Yes.
And
when I had this Chevy Brown, that stain, I actually really liked it.
I got my my mat in there, all hunkered down.
That's what's up.
All I gotta do yet, bro, is at this point put the back window in it and the front windshield. I just actually cut the front windshield, got it done. It's ready to be glued in. I won't do it on this show because I'll upset some people because I get putting windows in is the worst thing about this whole project of doing these trucks. I absolutely hate doing windows.
I do too. Bro, on the back window on this one, I had it pretty good, but I didn't like the gap. So I had an extra servo wire and I stripped the brown one off of it, the dark one.
Oh, yeah.
And used it as a weather seal.
Oh, sweet.
But after all that pissing around, guess what? It's still ugly and glued. You know what I do with the glue when I'm done? I paint it with I don't use black when I paint the weather strip. I use this dark German brown black thing. So it kind of looks like it's already been beat up by the sun. So all my weather seal on any of my trucks, it almost black, but it's not.
Yeah, I'll say you do a nice job with that. Those look good doing that weather seal with that.
Dude, let me show. Let me bring this one up.
Dude, I don't have the patience for that, man.
I just mask it, bro.
I get it, but I don't have the patience for that. to go and tape everything off like that, no. Boss, you're right, man. I saw that. The
Look on the front window. It's been masked and weather stripped.
Yeah.
Just
you do
paint.
it actually. You do it on the actual glass, though, don't you?
Well,
did you paint that glass?
No.
Oh, you did just the plastic underneath?
Yeah, and it's already molded.
No, dude, that looks good.
You know what I'm saying? It's molded in the file, so I paint that. I mask it and I paint it before I put the glass in.
Yep.
And then look at these side windows. Oh, just a little bit of brown weather seal.
Now, brother, you went that far. Why didn't you do what we've been talking about trying to do? Take those wings and turn them so they're actually turned out a little bit.
I might. I still got to make them, bro.
Right. Hey, boss was saying that VW's coming out with a bug truck for real. Yeah, I saw that, man. I gotta say, I'm intrigued by it. If it'll pull my boat, I might have to have one of those. They're cool.
Bro, can you? I wonder if you can see through the grill what.
You can't. I mean, you can see it in there, but it doesn't pick it up on the camera very well.
You see little bits sticking out there that wouldn't be there normally?
Yeah.
That's my stock chassis bits that I cleared coming through, and they nestle on the back of the bevel of this bottom line. Just
right on. Like it was meant to be, right?
Like it was meant to be, man.
It's funny how when we're messing with this crap, how easy things do come together on these things. It's like it's just meant to be.
It's unbelievable, honestly, the way it fits.
It's a ton of work, but the ton of work is rewarding, but it all fits together.
And I the whole thing is the problems and solving them.
Right. Yep.
So my head is wrapped around this problem for quite a while before I ever really decide. And I think of all kinds of easier ways to do it, but I don't like them because if you aren't careful, you're going to lose lateral stability on the chassis. You may have it down, but do you also have it side to side?
Right.
And man, there's as long as, and what's crazy, I don't have to attach this grill piece. It's separate. It can't be attached to the truck. Well, it can be if I take it off at the back and pull the whole thing. No, I can't. I can't do that either. I can't pull it forward. This.
Bro, are you telling me the grill is not attached to the body of the?
This isn't attached to the body. But look, it that whole front grill keys into this.
Oh, because you're coming down and pushing it back and setting it. So it key. Okay, now I follow you.
So this is firmly attached to the chassis.
To the chassis. Yep.
The body's all the way back.
Gotcha.
And attached back here.
Dude.
And I can pick it up by the bumper, bro. Because these key in, the tension on the pins is actually pretty strong. And like I said, I screw this to the cross member. And so it's puzzle fit, keyed in. And like I said, those little round bits that the stock pin receivers, they're also holding it too.
Sure.
So bro, look at this big ass truck. It's not, bro. All I got to do is undo the back, move it forward like a centimeter, and it's off.
All right, so don't be running into us this weekend with that damn thing, because I know what's going to happen.
Dude, nothing to this,
bro. You're building them too. You're building them too strong, man, to be running with us.
That's not true. A lot of crazy problems I had to solve though, man. So the first one, I got my negative spaces and all that stuff so I could clear those stock pins. Well, even though I put in these pins after the fact, it's still cut. Look how skinny it is. The negative space still, you can't see it. It's a half circle instead of a whole circle, is what I'm saying.
I see it.
The negative space cut out of the pin.
Right.
So I had to group all that, and then make new pins and put them right where the old ones were.
Yep. Makes sense.
And if I knew how to work Fusion, I don't think this would have been a problem.
Dude, you know what? Talking about Fusion, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to do specific things. That Fusion program is super easy to use. Once you get the base of it figured out, it is butter. Like I'm gonna start next week on designing those. I'm gonna start designing two halves that come together around the back axle of these trucks. You know where I'm going with that, because we're going to be finding some metal rakes and making some. We're going to be working on leaf springs on the back of these trucks. So I'm tired of having a nice looking truck
and have to cut a hole in the back.
To cut a hole in it, yes, to cover up the shock towers. One of these chassis is going to. One of them is going to be leaf springs at some point on the back.
I'm having some ideas about doing something different to cover this shock tower. Have you ever seen the scale model guys who use the Kleenex and then they'll like urethane it or Elmer's glue it and make it hard? And they'll emulate a tarp or a drop cloth.
Oh. Yeah.
So they'll basically make canvas.
Yep.
But it's hard. It doesn't really move like it would in real life, but it looks like it's just draped over the thing.
Yep.
And I'm thinking I might need to fake tarp an engine or some parts. Just print off some parts. And then I wouldn't have to paint them, just wrap them in this thing and like strap them down in the back. But it's actually a cover for the shock tower. Because I don't want to hide the wood bed any more than I have to.
Right. Exactly. That's where I have an issue with what I just said. You know, I'm tired of covering up all this stuff.
And man, you can't make box back stuff all the time. It's nice to do trucks.
So why couldn't you just take like an actual like blue tarp and just cut a piece of it, wad it up, and get it kind of how you want it, and then somehow like spray it with something to harden it so it's an actual tarp, and use that?
You could.
I mean, what would
the scale starts getting funny because the weave in it's going to be really big. But anything that's like that, I mean, it's crazy. I've seen guys do it with paper towel, bro, and Kleenex.
That's crazy.
And I'm thinking of doing it with like bro, it could be an old T-shirt, man.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say you do like what Pete did and go to the closet and find something. And
I got old grungy shirts that aren't white anymore to be perfect.
Yep. Yeah. If they're
And
old,
then
stand on their own, bro.
Dip it in, get the color you want, and I'll patina the tarp.
Dude, that would look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I liked your idea of like using firewood, but the problem is I haven't had a truck. I almost did it with this two-tone brown bug truck. I almost did that and went and got little pieces of wood or a branch and cut it and just take a hatchet and just kind of split it with, and use real wood and then just glue it in and go over the top of this shock tower cover that I use, which, I mean, you guys have all seen the bug truck, but just go over the top of that rather than using my stupid popsicle
That
stick.
looks so clean, man.
It does.
You got, it's like the job's already done. It looks so clean, man.
It's almost too clean for what we're going to do with these things this weekend, but whatever.
I think about sometimes making like just the top half of a fake gas can. Big tank.
Yeah.
But then it's awfully big.
Well, it's like I got a bunch of marine grade vinyl down in the basement, and I cut a piece of that and painted it black because it's tan. And I used that as a tonneau cover for my one Land Rover pickup truck, the ones that Kirk and I made.
Yeah.
And put, 3D printed, made some stringers to go across the bed. So it's got a little bit of a bow in it and glued those in at the top of the bed rails and then glued that cover on. It looks pretty good. It does the job. Something different.
Yeah. I thought about if I did a stack of logs, the ones on either side of the shock tower would be short. Yep. And then by the time you get as high as the shock tower, you'd have full ones. So It'd look like a stack of logs. I wouldn't split them, but just like, this big around, whatever, long. But again, it doesn't, to me, in the real life, if you had them in a truck, it would be as big as you could fit in there.
Right.
And so for me, if I do them short, it's only because I don't want to hide the whole wooden bed.
Right. You could rip like you're doing with the 1x1s or whatever they are for your box for your battery. Dude, you could rip those, and I never thought of this, and just set them in the bed so they kind of angle up over the top, just over the top of the tailgate. Like you just went to Lowe's and got yourself some deck lumber and put a little flag on the back of it. You can do that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that would work, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, just fake OSB 4x8 sheets.
Yeah, just glue it in and be done. Absolutely.
Too fun, man.
It is too fun. We must not be fun, man. We're losing people. We're down to 8 people in this.
Man, you know what? It is what it is. I can't even care about it, or I'd never show up because I know what we're doing is awesome. And when we're doing planes, we'll talk about planes, but we're talking about trucks.
Right. Dude, I tossed that video up on YouTube a little while ago of Dylan flying my Kristen Eagle over at your airfield.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
That was a fun day, man. We got to do that again too. Get out 100%.
There. Bro, so I follow a lot of full scale truck stuff now. And I saw a post from a Scout. They sell international Scout parts. And they posted up an old ad of a Travelall. Right? The red one. a different one, but an old ad from a magazine on the travel all.
Yep.
And so I posted in there the picture of mine with the little one stacked on the big one. And they were like, "Oh, wow," and started asking me about it and everything. And so I posted the video and I answered some questions, and they asked if they could share it. And I'm like, "Well, yeah." So they made a legit dedicated post on their full scale parts page, International Scout Parts. And legit, it's not like just a share, like they made a post.
That's crazy.
And tagged me and everything.
That's awesome.
And it's the picture of the big red with little red sitting on top. And I got asked twice already today about buying one. Nope. I mean, what do you want to pay, bro?
We've talked about this, man. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to figure out what you want to do. You know,
I'll never quit talking about it until I figure it out. But
dude, that's when you talk about scouts, man. I think I showed you this picture. I'm gonna share this out here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but
yes,
dude, that's my brother and I in front of my dad's old Scout, and we were camping at Cedar Point.
Yeah,
dude, I want to actually buy a Scout and print one out and make it look like that.
Yeah, man.
My dad
Which one is that? Like, what cap shell is that?
I forget what year it was. I want to say that truck was like, I want to say it was a mid to late 70s truck.
That's kind of what I was thinking. They have a very iconic kind of rear side window shape that I don't see on that one. That one's like a slope back or something.
Yeah, it's almost like the cap on the Blazer, the 70 Blazer.
Very much so. Yeah.
Now the one he had previous to that one was it was white. It was squared. It was squared off. It was an older one. But I'm thinking, dude, hey, I would give anything to have that blue and white truck right now.
Ty's not lying. Bro, get the truck, get that, and I'll do the truck, and you can do the one with the top.
I'll find it.
Hey, I was one that Ty was asking questions the other day, but I was in the chat, not the stream, and so I want to talk about it. You and I can talk about this now. And it was basically about joining pieces. So Ty's rocking it on the 3D printer, man, for not having one very long. He's rocking it for a guy that's had one very long. You know, he's doing great.
Yep.
And I got a little advice I was wanting to give him. On the glue joints, we just do butt joints and we use airplane CA glue.
Mm-hmm.
But I always make the glue joint flat on the print bed. I try to make it always flat on the print bed. So then when it comes off, it's as square as it's ever going to be. And then the next piece, especially with a vehicle, right? You like, let's say it's a truck bed, legit, or a boat like he's working on. You got a front of the boat, the middle where you're going to cut it, and then the rear of the boat, unless it's monster.
Yep.
So put the cut in the middle, print it with the point up, print it with the back up, and then you've got a perfectly flat, as good as you're going to get on the print bed, glue joint.
Yep.
But now what I know with this Tinkercad business, you know what I'm thinking now? Instead of mounting tabs, I'm thinking about just laying a cylinder with a hole in it where I know I'm going to slice it.
Right, and then bring them together. Have a male, female.
And then they get cut, so there's no align. They go on before you slice it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So there's no getting it wrong.
Yep.
Then you've got, man, wouldn't that be nice if you could? I mean, I glue these. I don't know. I think Bree helps you glue them, but I glue these by myself. If I could get a screw started or cinched up and it looked good, and then I can glue from the inside without having to tack glue it like a welder on the outside, knowing I'm going to have to finish it. Because I glue on the outside so I can see what aesthetically matters to me.
Right.
If you line it up on the inside, you may not be right on the outside. So, but if I could screw it together and pinch and torque and get it right, where I could just handle the thing and glue the snot out of it from the inside, it's going to be stronger and it's going to be easier for me to glue together. And if you're ever making them for somebody else, it makes a little more sense to sell pieces instead of pre-assembled all the way.
Correct. And there's
together.
Bro, there's a ton of files out there that, well, the Tremors truck's that way.
Yep.
It's got the locations on the inside of it where you can put the screws through and bring it together. But I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan of those. I would never put screws in there. You know, what I use those for is extra support with the glue. You know, with all the extra land on the inside. But when you put them together with screws, it doesn't work because it's never lines up on the outside right.
Why is that?
I have no clue.
Because to me,
I mean,
I feel like if they're in there before you slice them off, like if I lay in the tubes on where I know I'm going to slice it on a door jamb, you know what I'm saying? We try to pick at least you can't always get a panel line, but you try.
Yep.
But like, if I know that's where I'm going to cut it, I'm starting to have a pretty good idea about where I'm going to need to cut stuff. If I know that's where I'm going to cut it, let me lay down a tube in a few spots. And it's more for lining it up, not necessarily strength. You still have to be able to get at it to put a screw in it too without it being towed in, or it's going to pull it funny.
Yep.
But even if you were just sticking dowels through it for a minute while you can glue the son of a gun, that'd be okay.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? One thing that comes to mind when you're talking about Ty with his boat, he just said I think he floated it and he said it was fine. So he used glue and clear medical tape, he said. That's cool. Like the canoe that I made to fit on top of the honcho. Dude, I did that exactly how you're talking about. I sliced it in 3 pieces because it had to be so long it wouldn't fit on my little printer. And I stood everything up.
Yes.
And it went together perfectly. But like with Fusion, it would be a piece of cake to go in wherever we cut these sections, bring them into Fusion, and then add like a 1/4 inch line on the inside of the seam, and add a 1/4 inch to it or something or whatever to be able to have more of a surface to glue to and be stronger. Because that's the problem with some of these, like, you know, they're so thin that it's like gluing a thin mint together, man. It's crazy.
Well, we've been lucky on some of these bodies where the butt joint, some of these are, especially as big as we make them, they get fat enough.
They do.
Where there's actually something substantial as far as the butt joint. But, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. How do you get it to lay down and conform to the shape of the body?
Are you talking about infusion, or are you talking about just?
Yeah, because it sounds like in a way you're talking about laying a mending plate or like a ribbon of material over where you know you're going to cut. It extends and overlaps the other piece.
I would bring my pieces into Fusion individually, and then wherever, say it's the front doghouse and the hood section of a truck, on the back side where you're going to join that to the cab, I would actually go on the inside of that where you're going to glue those 2 halves together and put like a 1/4 inch leg. When you print it, it's going to give you a 1/4 inch leg all the way around, something that you could drill through and put maybe a screw through it, or more land to be able to glue these things together and have more structurability, you know, some strength there.
I just wonder how it conforms to the shape.
Well, you would create that in the software. You would go all the way around that surface. It'd be a piece of cake to do. Piece of cake. So you'd have a 1/4 inch leg. If this was your surface that you're going to glue two pieces together, I would have the 1/4 inch leg coming down on each one. So when you bring it together, you've got more surface to glue to. Then 90 degrees to what your parts are, you would have a 90-degree leg standing down on each part. So when you bring it together, you get that 1/4 inch leg or whatever that length would be to be able to glue that together rather than trying to glue on the actual seam itself.
I get it. I get it.
That would be a piece of cake to do.
And I was thinking what you were saying. I was close to what you were thinking, what you were meaning. So what I thought you meant was the same thing, but you only do one side, and maybe it's not. I don't want to lose any real estate inside, so it's thin, and it extends on the inside past where that joint is.
So it rides that contour?
Yes, and you can still glue the back side of it. You still have more surface area, but you're not messing with the front.
Right. And
I like what you're. Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. You're giving more surface area to the butt joint.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And if I do the cylinder thing,
I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab a piece of paper and a pen. I'm gonna draw this out real quick.
Yeah, man. When I do the cylinder thing, I still am gonna be gluing it. If I screw it, I'm still gluing. Because you have to.
Yeah, I follow you.
You still got to glue it because the screws aren't enough. And especially doing finish work and all that, bro, you can't have it moving at all.
Right, exactly.
Yes, sir. Geez Louise. It's free. Yeah.
Geez Louise, it's free.
Dude, I think it's so cool that blazer that you got to Pete got 400,000 views.
Right? Isn't that amazing?
Bro. I mean, what?
So it made it to 400,000?
I bet it did. I could look right now. I guarantee it's over 400. Let me look. All I know is I need another printer, bro.
Dude, I love having two, and I'm surprised that Ty hasn't bought a second one yet because it's something that you got to have it.
And if any of you guys are getting into this, I have a Bamboo link in the description, so check it out.
Ryan, you're thinking like something like this, right? Where you got this piece right here, this on the inside of the seam, and it'll insert in underneath your mating part, right?
So look at here's the butt joints.
Yep.
I got an extra piece that goes over it this way.
Yep.
It just.
Yep. Well, that's kind of what I drew there, exaggerated a little bit. But,
yeah.
But yeah, dude, that would be so easy to do. It would make complete sense to do that because then you could put the damn thing together alone, and you wouldn't need your gut to hold things, you know. And it would conform to each other super easy and super well, and it increases the strength.
Well, and it's still locked in a way, even if the glue were to fail.
Exactly. I mean, and do you go to the extent where you have a mating piece on the opposite one where that links in? So you'd have a male and female where it actually interlocks in together? Maybe that's something we need to work on.
considering what we're working with now, just having anything extra would be amazing. Because I think most people, if they're not doing this, they would assume, like, how are you lining these up? Right? I can imagine somebody wanting to know.
Yep.
And magic, butt joints, bro. I'm getting one end right and then walking the dog across.
Yep.
I get it right on wherever and then walk the dog, tack it, so to speak, and then glue the whole thing.
Yep. That tie. I'm not getting another printer just yet, but I want one. Yeah, dude, it's addicting. I told you, man, it takes over your life. When Ryan got his, I told him, I was like, have fun, man, because it's going to take over your life. And it does. It really does. But I like having, dude, I got the best of both worlds right now. I got the big K1 Max. I love the size of it. I haven't had any issues with it. Have never had a failed print. It does amazing work, and I can run all the big parts on it. And I've got the small ender where I just do the headlights, the tail lights, and all the small stuff, and just load that little printer up and with small little bits, and it's great.
I ordered more filament today.
What are you gonna do next? I guess that's the question. What's next after you get the tremor struck done? And by the way, how is that looking?
Same. I've been working on this one.
But you got all the major parts all printed out for
that. Yeah. I want to really, because it's only glued together. So no finish work has been done at all, right? But
scale wise, though, it looks good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. But I want to really document this one because I need Bondo all over. I got a lot of finish work on the seams. It's a little thinner. I'm still trying to find how many stinking things you got on this.
Dude, it was nice having Pete on last week.
That post has been shared 320 times. It's got 7,000 likes, and I'm trying to see the views, but I bet it's over 400,000.
See me Christmas.
Right. I think it was on 391 when I made the last video I put out. Why am I not able to click it and see? How did I do it last time? I told you how I did it.
I don't know. I can't see the total views on it. Does anybody in the chat, can they see it?
I was able to do it, and I don't remember how I made it happen, though.
Yeah, Ty, every time you print something or go into the studio to work something out on the bed of the printer, it's always, you always learn something new every time. I've been at hardcore for a year now, and I still am learning, but it's so much fun. How big is that boat that he printed out? Ty, how big is that boat? Oh, Ty's asking where the video is at. I think it was on Facebook, on Horizon's Facebook page.
Yes, it's going to be on Horizon Hobby, like Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. Maybe that's where I should look.
Bro, that's what I need to do. I need to print out a boat. Seems how I live on the damn water. Only makes sense. I need an airboat.
Bro, on Instagram, it got shared 7,700 times.
Jeez.
Shared. It got 23,000 likes, which means the views on it are going to be stupid, bro. Okay, here. I'll be able to see the views on Instagram. Hold on. But we can't sell one. Come on.
No, I think there's a market for it. It's just a matter of who, when, and where.
It's a custom market with a high dollar, dude. No one's going to want to pay.
Like I said, I would print one out for somebody and ship it to them. If you want it put together, fine. But I'm not finishing it.
Bro.
Because I do not want to send somebody something that they go, really? You know, this isn't really what I thought I would have.
527,000 views on Instagram.
Jeez.
And that's 10 times more than most. I mean, they've got some stuff that's up there, but that's.
Look, I mean, let's face it.
That's like second place.
Look at all the comments of people saying, "Hey, is this what's coming? This is what we've been wanting."
The only thing I see ahead of that one is one. There's one that has 21.3 million views, but that is crazy. Most everything is around 27,000, 40,000, 50,000 views, 65, 144. The other post from Beat the Creek, 144, 65, 413. 527, bro.
And here's the thing. Wait till TJ gets done with the actual the video that he's putting together on that. Dude, it's gonna blow up. And like I said, you know what? We're not shooting rockets into space here, but you know what? This is something that's unique and everybody wants it. And you know what? There's a market for it. Because everybody, like I said, everybody's tired of Jeeps and honcho bodies.
Yep. And I'm starting to think that I like making them as much as I like having them.
I know, they're like little kids.
But I also can't bear the thought of not having one that I've made.
Right.
However, pony up $3,000, dude. So, and I'll make whatever that's the thing. I would rather, even though I don't want to get rid of it, I'd rather sell this one than have to make another one.
Right.
Already made it.
Right. Yeah.
And then I could make one if I wanted to, or just make something else. I just want to make something else. But there's something to be said for having done it once. I have to make a spacer block easy. It's going to be easy. It'll be like this.
But, bro, that's what
I filleted. I beveled these edges, too. I need to make a spacer block like this for the back. Because the bed right now is screwed on like I do. But it had to be up. It's not laying on the chassis like I try to do. I just can't. It's about that much. Yep. So it's a bolt and then another bolt holding it up, then another bolt holding the bottom, and then another one on the top. So it's like I just need to make a filler and then one deal.
Yep. Simplify it.
Yep.
But
I'm reusing the same holes that the Ford had.
Yeah. But that's the thing about this is like what we're working in right now, whether it's the bug truck or it's your Ford pickup truck or if it's the Tremors truck, whatever, the Blazer, we've got all the files. We do it differently, but we're all ending at the same place. But every time we make one, we make it better. So we're kind of refining the process as we go. So to make, if we had 10 people come to us and say, we want a Blazer body, we want the Ford F-150, we want one of these stupid bug trucks. Dude, okay, we can print them out. If you want us to put them together, fine. We'll ship them to you as one piece, and you can finish it to whatever color you want, whatever spec you want, and whatever. Have fun. Because I'm in this doing this because I want to open up the world and the eyes to say I can do this myself. So it's like it's not difficult. It takes a little time, but the reward is great. So do it.
And that's the thing. I mean, not everyone is going to spend the time to make one of these. So I understand wanting to have one bad enough to pay for it. But I mean, if this was a Lexan body, it'd be $200,
right?
Or $100, $150. They sell the Honcho body on Jenny's RC for $190.
Right.
It's Lexan.
Right.
Okay, so I've unbolted this. Check this out. All right, so it's off at the back. Now I can scoot up.
Nice.
And I need to undo my I need to rethread back in my battery lead real quick.
Right. But like we talked about last week, Ryan. If I go to Axial Fest and I'm driving one of my trucks around and somebody says, "Hey, I want that. I want one of them bodies," I'd be like, you know what? You can buy this body off this truck chassis right now.
I know, right? It's easier to sell one that's already done than make it. Could you imagine having somebody bug you for weeks while you're making one? Hey, look.
Right.
I'm basically together, bro. I got a little bit of gluing still on my rocker, my running boards and stuff.
Yep.
And my front fenders. But you can see this bumper and everything is solid and will be on this truck.
Yep. I see your plate that's attached to the chassis there in the front. Yep.
Yes. Bro, this is the best part. So that's that thing I'm talking about. It's on there so good, and I have no clearance. This piece has to remain separate, or I have to cut off those stock pin locations.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
So
I'm going to take this out, but it's in there. So 2 bolts, 1, 2, and then this. So the bolts come in through the bumper mount cross member into the big old chunk of block there.
Yep.
I put the pins on there, and they're set deeper now in the thing where you can actually see them poke
right through
some.
Yep.
I cut the bottom of this off. These little nubs here, dude, it's unbelievable. It fits the angle of the front of that cross member. And then these little round receivers, I'm going to put it back in. Everything there has a purpose and is holding it.
It's great. And the thing is, Ryan, this is where we're headed. Where you could, you know what? If somebody wants one of these, you'd be like, "How do you want it? Do you want to have the clip that's attached,
or do you want? This is where you start.
Or do you want the robust one? You want one that just clips and it's a quick release?
If I'm making a new one, I'm using this exact same piece again,
right?
And that's how I'm going to mark about my arches.
Right. Yep. See, and like this
is what it's all fitting in, the stock stuff right here.
I don't know if you can see it. You see my clip up front? I mean,
yes. Nice.
And it clips beautifully. It locks in. I can pick the front of this chassis up with any of these bodies with that clip on there. I can grab a hold of the fenders and pick the whole chassis up, just like you can.
Pay attention to the cross member and these little pin locations right there.
Yep.
And then
those are what I took off of mine.
Where they end up is just amazing.
Well, that right there, those 2 pins locate your whole body. I'm proud.
Even if they break, I've already now since they're located, these other 2 holes are done. It's like I'm good.
Hey, I'm proud of you, man. That's
Look
awesome.
look at the stock stuff, how it's just perfectly held by this piece. It's poking through because remember, I had to clearance out this stock grill
Right. To be able
uh to not have to redo the whole truck. But dude,
yep.
everything is right there.
It's awesome. Hey, I gotta ask Victor, what kind of F16 do you have? I'm curious.
What kind of what?
F16 Victor has. Are you running EDF? Or are you running turbine or what? And hi, Fred. How's it going? Matt, Ty. Got a few people in the house here. Sorry, we're jib jabbing.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, as Ty would say.
Say hi to everybody because we're jib jabbing away here, not paying attention to anybody here.
Yeah.
But like I'll say it again, Victor. I gotta tell you, man, you've heard this out of me before. I was an airplane guy, and then this guy sitting here on screen with us got me started on surface. So it's kind of been where I've been living all winter. But kind of curious to know what kind of F16 you got. I love my F16. Flies great.
And man, I could put this right back on. 2 volts.
So that way, the way you just did that, you could have, two or three of those Chevy pickup bodies, and just leave that in there, and that's it.
And man, the Honcho and the Wrangler both have that front end cross member.
Yep.
So this piece, whether it's a Honcho or a Wrangler, a Chevy, is going to work.
Yep.
And I can repurpose the design. If it's not a Chevy, let's say it's something more square. I'll take this file still exists. It's fine. I can take this in, throw a block in it, and start doing what I got to do. But I already have.
You get the base,
the holes and the pins. Yeah.
You can just cut that whole top off and put a different top on that base, and you're done.
All you really need to know is the pins.
Right, what that width is.
And where on the depth.
Yep.
I'll put it back on. My running boards are loose. I gotta do something.
Fred's saying that F-16 of Victor's might be a global Aerojet 1/6 scale turbine. Nice.
So then this there's those alignment tabs. So on the real one, and the white bumper has the male side of that notch.
Right. Yep.
So you finger that.
Yeah, I remember that fits pretty tight into that.
It's bro, I'm perfect. That's exactly where it goes. Those round things for the stop pins come over the very bottom one of these grill lines by about 3/16. Another thing that keys in the front end.
Yep.
You set the bolts in the back, and it's not going nowhere.
Yep.
I'm going to set the bolts in the back. Hold on. The only problem is my eyes in the dark.
So Matt's saying, how many pieces do you have to print to complete a 1/6 scale body? It depends on what body you're printing. I think majority of mine are at least 6 sections. for the majority of them. The bug truck was, I can show you. So Matt, on this, this doghouse section was one piece. I had fenders that I added in.
Bro, I'm back together. Look.
Make them fit. Hold on, man. And then I have the cab section, a sliver here to transition it to the 55 Chevy bed, and then 2 fenders and a tailgate on the back.
I'm back together already.
Nice. Time to go bash.
And when I do the battery, none of that has to happen anyway.
How many sections is that 55 in for you?
Good question. I was getting ready to say, each fender is a piece.
Yep. So there's 4.
There's 4. The half of the hood makes 6. The grill makes 7. The bumper is 8. The cab, I did it different than you do yours. I cut mine more than I needed to save on waste.
Right.
Which I created more opportunity for glue joints, but less waste. So I'm at 8. The cab is split 9, 10, 11, 12. The bed is 13, 14. The tailgate, basically could have went on with something else, but that's 15. And then the running boards printed in one fell swoop. So,
17, and then plus you got the dash and the seat.
Yep. And some of that you could have printed together, but I don't know why. I think when I did the fenders, I might have done 2 at one time. I could have done 1 at one time. I can't remember. So, in a way that cuts it in half. On the fenders, instead of being 4, it's 2. But it's 15 to 20.
Right.
But I think on the Ford, I only had eight on the Ford truck.
So the other thing to say about this is, you said your print bed's what, 265?
Yeah, I think it's 256.
Okay, and mine's 300 millimeters. So the bigger print bed you have, the bigger chunks you can print. And like Ryan said, he slices his things differently than I do. I'll bite the bullet and kill Mother Nature with a lot of filament usage, but I have less seams, and I'll print my stuff in different orientations than what he does.
And I choose my seams.
Right. So that way I'm running less chunks than what Ryan is. I'm using more filament, but I'm saving time on the back end when I'm putting it together, seaming it together with glue. So
you can imagine right off the bat that they're down the middle, they're going to be cut. Right down the middle, long ways.
Yep.
On this one, I could have printed the whole cab half, but Kelly, I did it. I separated here all the way around the base of the windows.
Yep.
And then up to, actually there, you can't see it, but there's a seam line here.
Same seam line as what I have.
Yep. But you can't see it, and all you see is where the hood's supposed to be. But so I it's down the middle, but it's also, like I said, I just did this top part in 2 halves, and then the bottom part I did, because you can imagine when you're if I printed this whole, I've got support going from the bottom here all the way to the top to support this roof. The way I did it, I only had a support from here to the top of the roof. And then no support really was needed for the whole bottom, because there's no, you know what I'm saying? just on the very, very sides because of some of the contour. But I saved a lot of material by slicing this here. And I knew I'm gonna finish it anyway, so it's fine.
Bro,
You couldn't tell I did that.
I think my 55, I printed the cab section all in one piece and I laid it on its back.
Yeah.
Is what I did, and then I had to sand the living piss out of that to get rid of all the print lines and everything on the back of it to make it look decent. But I used less filament that way.
It's less filament that way. But what I did, you know what else I did? Just like I was telling Ty, the bottom part of this cab that I said was separate.
Yep.
Guess what was on the print bed? This was up the glue joint on the top piece, print bed. These pieces here, I flipped them upside down and did them.
Gotcha.
So I knew I'd have flat to glue to.
Yep.
Because I hate having to sand. If you have to sand to get a surface to mate, that's fine. But you may be creating a mess on down the line.
Yep.
As far as square and warping goes.
You'll never get it square. You'll never get it square.
So the print bed is as flat as you're going to get.
Yep.
And that way you have solid contact on the surface area.
Sorry, bro. I'm gonna put my there's my chassis. See, and I took those bits off.
Yep.
So both of my chassis are set up just for the clips.
Yeah, man. They look so good. I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but it's got us wrapped up, you guys.
Just a little bit?
Bro, these things we got, you can't buy them, bro. They're not out there.
I know. That's what I love about it. And they're all unique.
And I follow Andre Bezrodny's Facebook page. Most of those people are making static models. They're very small of these trucks.
Yep.
And look what we do.
Yep. We turn them into little big truck fab toys. I mean, how cool is it, man? We're a bunch of like old guys playing with toys, man.
I'm pretty happy with the patina on this green one. And then the way the dash and the seats tie it together. Come on. I got to figure out my rims. I printed off some new rims, bro.
You printed them off?
Yeah, you know how I do. They look like poker chips, brother.
Look. Oh, the centers?
Yeah, this is what I did on the Travelall, except that I painted them white.
They're the same ones. Yeah.
These are, and you know what's stupid about me, Kelly, is these are round, and so you can see the lines.
Yep.
I'll sand them, dude. I'll sand them and epoxy them and sand them and paint them and sand them and yeah.
That's a little cray, brother.
And then when they're all done, I'll put a dirty wash or something on them to make them look dirty after all that stupid trouble.
Absolutely. There. Now mine's on.
Killer, bro. Are you gonna rock those Goodyears?
Yep.
That looks so good, man.
It's different. It's ugly. It's ugly. I don't care if it gets beat up. I don't care if you T-bone me. I don't care what happens to this thing.
I ain't T-boning you in this one.
You know what I'm saying?
I need to disallow second gear for myself on this one. The only thing I don't like about it being green is that now it's green outside.
Yeah, it's gonna get lost.
In the winter, it look amazing, and in the fall, it'll look great. But it's gonna be camo in the green
dude.
It's trugly.
You know what the best part is about this brown one? It's gonna get muddy, and I won't even know.
One time in my life, I'm going to get one muddy or dirty and dusty, and then just clear coat it the way it sits.
Ha!
Just see.
That would look cool. I've thought about doing that. You know,
I'm telling you that matte finish spray rattle can I like clear.
Mm-hmm. When we go out to that beach area over there at Bago Creek, and we're running in that sand after we got our tires wet, and it gives that nice fling look up the side. That's when you want to stop and just use the clear coat right there and then.
Yes, and then drive some more while it's wet.
Yep.
While it's wet, bro.
Heck yeah.
Dude, I'm so stupid. I was thinking about how can I get real hair coming out the bottom of the hat on my driver?
You're going to have to borrow one of your daughter's Barbie dolls and give it a haircut, probably.
Well, I thought about a paintbrush, like stealing the bristles, but then I'm like, whose hair is that straight? And then I'm like, all right, if I put a lighter to it, they'll curl up a little bit. Like mine. I'm sick of seeing Matt driving mine. I mean, I like him. No diss. I just want my head on one of these drivers. But I'll have to add more belly to them. And then all of a sudden my center of gravity will get weird.
Bro, one of these days, I'm telling you, I am going to pop for a cricket, one. And two, I keep seeing these advertisements for these handheld 3D scanners. Dude, I'm gonna pull the trigger on both those at some point.
I want the new bamboo that does the work the cricket does.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But I mean, dude, they're what, $2,800 or something?
But it's another printer too.
I get it.
And like some kind of, it's like a laser cutter machine.
No, I know. I get it. I understand.
I mean, I don't, just because I want one doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's not probably in my future at all.
Right. Let's help Matt out a little bit.
A cricket would be.
So Matt's saying I'm trying to upscale a 1/24th to 1/10th use on my drag car. The confusing part is the body has 4 extra parts, doors and roof, and I can't figure out the measurements.
Okay, go ahead. I know what I'm going to say.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. And
we're going to say the same thing, I'm sure. And just like our projects, we'll say the same thing. We'll say it differently, but the result will be the same. Whatever number you had to do to get part of it right, like let's say the body that you've scaled up, whatever numbers you had to do to scale up that, you just have to apply those numbers to those other pieces as well. So if we take a 1/8 scale, because my travel all had multiple files. The 1/10 scale, I scaled it up to 115.41 to get it the right size for a 13-inch wheelbase. And so that's multiple pieces as well. So whether it was the roof, the hood, the back doors, the side doors, whatever, the grill, once you get that digit, you have to apply it to the rest of the project. Right? So the Chevys are, Kelly landed on 134, and that's what's right. So every little piece is 134, and then it works. So whatever that number is, you just have to repeat.
Right. And again, at some point, maybe we can do another, review of that Autodesk mesh mixing program. I'm at the point now where I'm far enough with Fusion. I like what I'm seeing with Fusion, but there's times that I still like to play in the mesh mixer because I know how to use it. I can get where I want to go real quick with that on certain things. And you know, I did that tutorial that one night, and I refer back to that. It was five weeks ago or so. And you know, go watch that and see how, you know, just follow along with me on that, just to get your scale right from 1/24th to the 1/10th. And you know, it works, and you'll find yourself living in what, like Ryan said, whatever that scale is. That once you do that work on the mesh mixer and transfer it over to the printer bed, and you figure out what your size is from axle to axle with what's there, it gives you that scale percentage, and then you use that for everything that you print for that 1/10 scale body from the 1/24th. Or email the file to Ryan, and we'll help you out.
Yeah, definitely. Once you get it, I'm trying to find this file from yesterday to show you guys. Once you get the one number, you're pretty much there.
So Ty's asking that new bamboo printer does that have an engraving option?
Yeah, it's got like a laser cutter. It'll cut like wood and leather and thin metal.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I can't find that file right this second. I don't want to mess up the stream over it either.
Right.
Yeah, I should let you have it just to center it. And like, dude, 3 millimeters. I'm like,
well, and here's the other crappy part about it, what we're doing, and you kind of let off with this earlier. You know, you've printed what, 3 of those front sections to get it right after you've reworked it, and then you reprint it, and then you rework it again. And it's nice because, like with Fusion, you don't have to do that. It's like you just put the dimensions in that you want, and it's done. I mean, it's CAD.
You know what I did? I did get smart, and I used my calipers. And if 0.05 is the tolerance, I did 0.07. I give myself a little more, you know, because I haven't done this stuff.
Right.
Have you guys ever seen the big, awesome Tonka dump truck job on an SEX6? Brian Kim is the guy who did that. Man, that's a cool rig, dude.
It is a cool rig, man. Nice job on that. And
sure.
he's spot on. I mean, there's a lot of guys using the resin printers for a lot of the small, like, you know, bits, the door handles, the grills, and you get a lot better fidelity with the resin.
100% if you're willing to deal with it. And what's nice about the resin, from what I've seen, is that it's pretty much right away. Like when I'm doing door handles and small stuff, it always gets ugly. But Kelly knows I'll sand them, I'll resin them with just UV resin and sand them again and then paint them. And so my door handles that look like crap, same with my wipers and the small stuff, gas caps, the logo bit here, I can't get it out of the light good enough to, I mean, that it's fuzzy, but it looks, you don't see lines now.
Those are the small parts where that new bamboo printer would come in handy to have.
Well, and with a resin printer, it would have been right away.
Right. And you know, I got a coworker that owns a CNC laser, and he's willing to make us badges for these things with, you know, aluminum or steel, whatever we want.
That's the only thing. Could you imagine the little Chevy on the side, 3100, or, you know, those things?
He's willing to do this for us, you know. He's like, Kelly, get me the, you know, what do you want? Do you need the badge for the 3100 for the Chevy? He's like, I can go grab that off of Google and bring it into my software, and I can actually. He does like basically a 3D. It's a 3D laser. It will actually give you a rounded, finished emblem. So I'm gonna have him do those for us at some point soon, and he wants to take like my little pop can, hubcaps. He's like, brother, give me those. I can laser the bow tie in there, or if you want the VW bug, like the VW symbol on it. He's like, all day long. So I need to give him a bunch of those so we can like have him laser those in for us. He's our tool room guy, and he's just sharp as a tack. You should see some of the stuff he's doing with his laser, CNC laser. It's crazy.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. I don't know how a laser could do wipers, but I'd like to have metal wipers, bro.
I'm sure he could probably do it.
Because, dude, when you 3D print them, they're always too fat. They're too big.
Yep.
And then you gotta. I mean, I'm literally sanding the wipers on my travel, like anything small. I've done as much finish to it as I have the big stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it would be nice to have some metal bits on these things for sure.
If you could make the light buckets actually the bezels and stuff, wouldn't that be sick?
Yeah, it would be cool. I don't know how long it would take him to do something like that, but like the badges and the door handles and stuff like that, the real small stuff, wiper blades, I think that's something that he would be able to turn pretty quick, and especially out of aluminum.
Yeah,
because he can control the depth of that burn, that laser. It's pretty crazy.
Because imagine the bezels. If you get, because we're printing them, they get thicker than they maybe need to be.
Yep. So that's coming soon. I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna have him start with doing like the bow tie and the VW logos on the center Moonies.
Yeah.
Just for something to try. I think it'd look pretty cool.
You know what else? And I've done it out of styrene. I did it on the Willys, but the trim, the metal.
Oh, yeah.
Trim.
Yep.
Oh.
That would be a piece of cake to do.
Now that I know a little bit more, like there's some little pieces that should be on the Willys that help hold the hood down at the close to the window. It's like it's these posts that have, I think, holes in it and like an H piece. It's kind of just rod work, It's small tube, but just these little extra things.
Dude, the Fusion program, like I know Josh was doing a tutorial the other day on the tubing.
That was awesome.
Dude, that is so easy to manipulate and work with. I was messing with that the other night.
I played with Fusion for an hour, and I couldn't get a circle to do what I wanted it to.
Dude, you remember when I was doing the roll bar stuff out of like the 3/8 aluminum, round stock?
Yeah.
Bro, now I'm like, come on. Dude, that tubing thing is so easy.
Josh made that look amazing. And that's kind of what inspired me to think about this and to play with Fusion again. I ended up doing it in Tinkercad because I know how to work it.
Right.
And then after I did it, I played with Fusion because I was like, I know I can do what I want in Tinkercad, and I did. And then I played with Fusion. I couldn't do shit. But watching him do it, oh my gosh. That was really cool what he did with the tubes. And like, if you can do, all I need to do is a little bit of that tube work or not. I can use cylinders like I've been doing. And I can make these pins mount in the stock bits, which means that if you ever sold one of these, they can mount it right up.
Right.
Without taking stuff off.
Exactly. Right.
What up, Dad? How are you, man? Talk to me soon.
But yeah,
no big deal. I was thinking about you on Mother's Day, bro. And I just didn't get on the phone. We were busy, but Mother's Day, y'all. It's awesome, but it's also very rough for some of us, I'm sure. It's bittersweet, man. I mean, I'm here in the throes of it with a wife and little kids and stuff, but oh man.
I was speaking to that. Was at one of the RV OEMs, one of my customers this morning, and I could tell the temperature was a little different in that building. And had a short conversation with the plant manager, and he said that one of their top guys on the floor was out for a walk on last Sunday morning, and somebody ran into him and killed him. And he's got like 3 or 4 kids and wife. He was like, I think 30, 31 years old.
That's rough, man.
It's like, man, that Mother's Day will never be the same. So it's.
Bro, I had a buddy whose mom. We're not going to compare these kind of stories for long, man, because it's just a downer.
Right. Yeah.
But man, his mom on like Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So moving on, thoughts and prayers though for our buddy Kenny Rogers, who's been out of work, dealing with some health issues actually lately. And Urban, our buddies that go over to Urban Legend RC's live stream, there's a link in the description of those videos that has a GoFundMe for Kenny, and it's probably out there on Facebook as well. I didn't think about it till now, or I'd have put it in the description today. But man, dude's self-employed. He's a great guy. He's having a time. I mean, just putting that out there. So check it out.
Will do.
Yeah, man. I'm the kind of guy though, right now though, when I see somebody with a sign out in the street, I want to go ask them if they could spare a few bucks. Because or where'd you get that cardboard at? Because will you be mad if I stand here next to you?
Can we both hold that?
Yeah, holy smokes, man.
Yeah, it's crazy times we live in for sure.
Yeah, it is. You know? It is. But there's a bit of a turnaround on that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, look at what happened with China the other day, you know? So, yeah, there's some
from 145 down to 30%.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the other thing. I think we touched on it last week with Pete. You know, these chassis, these trucks are expensive, so everybody's kind of wanting to be able to accessorize and use what they've got and feel like they got something new and different. So, you know what? Again, 3D printing is fairly inexpensive to do. And, you know, a lot of your crafting supplies for stuff like this is not overly expensive. So, you know, it's like take the time and print something and make yourself a new body for your truck. Make you feel like you got something new. Save a few coins. Fred just posted.
Ty, yeah, thanks, man. Ty, I was just getting ready to look into making you a mod so you can do that, but Fred has done it already. Thank you. And I'm in StreamYard, so I don't see a way to do it there without going to YouTube. Yes, was going to be the answer, but Fred beat me to it, so thanks. There we go. Fred dropped it. That's for Kenny Rogers, man, our fly buddy. And and his wife. Yeah, self-employed. He's been out for 2 months, down for the count. I know it's driving him crazy, spending all that time not being able to do what he does. He's a beast. That dude is super smart, mechanic and fabricator, and he's a mechanic on airplanes and vehicles. And that cat has forgotten more than most of us will ever know.
Yeah, I've seen his name quite a bit in a lot of your past live streams.
Yep.
Is he pretty much primarily an airplane guy?
Yes, I know he's got some vehicles though. I've seen his kid running some vehicles when we were in Alabama doing some shows.
Got you.
What's the name of his channel? He does some 3D printing, and he's 3D printed a bunch of planes, man. And he's made a bunch of planes out of whatever he can get a hold of, dude. Golf club shafts. I have flown a couple of his creations, and so is Ali Machinchi.
Yeah.
And like, bro, one of them has a V-tail like this. Not like this, but it was like crazy. And it was amazing.
Was that from like a couple of years ago at Bama?
Yes.
Okay, I remember you did some short videos on that, I think.
Probably. Oh, yeah.
I saw it from Jeff in Lower Alabama. One of you guys had posted some video footage of that. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. I love somebody that's, intuitive like that thinks outside the box and does that weird stuff that works. It's cool. Slapnuts just put up Jennifer's PayPal as well.
Yep.
Cool. I'll have to.
Yeah, man. I think every little bit definitely helps.
Yep. I'll definitely go contribute to that.
For sure. Ty, I'll definitely get you. If I can get to my live stream on my phone, I can do it right now. Let's see. I should have got a notification that I was on. I had trouble getting it set up today. Is because when I scheduled it last week, I didn't make it reoccurring. I just scheduled it. So I need to play with that and make it reoccurring.
Brother, we need to get Ty on here some night with us.
Yep. Especially those guys, some of them are getting ready to take to the air, and so I think let them get some flying either before or after. We can tell you what you did wrong, or we can talk about it ahead of time, and hopefully you're able to avoid some of that trouble. But Ty was ripping on Real Flight Monday. He was in with us.
Brother, I was planning on again jumping in there, but it's been crazy madness at work, and Monday night I made it till about 9:00 and I'm like, I can't do it. But I was planning on joining that. But I'm glad that Ty's having fun with it and he's ripping it and starting to figure it out.
Guys, go to scoutparts.com and show my post some love. I can't believe this is a full-size international Scout Parts shop. Scoutparts.com, and it says .com, DOTCOM, scoutparts.com. They posted up an old ad of a travel-all, and so I replied with pictures of these because captive audience. And then they asked me if they could share it, and I said yes. And now I got people asking for travel-alls.
Where do you go once you're at the website? I'm on it right now. Scoutparts.com?
I'm on Facebook. I haven't gone to their website because I don't need any parts, but I follow all kinds of truck stuff. So
it's on their Facebook page.
Yep, Facebook page, scoutparts.com. And it doesn't say, it's not a dot. It literally DOTCOM after Scout Parts. Rogers RC Aviation. That's the name of it. There you go. Oh, I know. Ty, how you get the weapons on the planes is it depends on which model you pick. So some of those models are like combat. It says combat in the description or whatever of the airplane. And so you can pick something that's going to actually shoot. And I got guys shooting at me all the time. It drives me crazy. Especially when I'm like loafing, like slow. That's all right. I pull evasive maneuvers. I don't think they hit me very often. But
dude,
real fight's fun.
I'm on this page. There is some things on here that I would love to replicate.
I like internationals, man. And I like the models because I wouldn't want one in real life. Just because it's really hard to find some of the stuff. I know, right?
That. How
I know. It's bad to the bone. That almost scratches my itch for that little rover I wanted to make.
Dude, as soon as I saw this, I thought of you with that little rover.
I gotta make one, bro.
Dude, they got this.
If I make one of those, I'm painting it yellow and white like my dad's International Snow Star, my grandpa's.
Nice. Let me know if you need some yellow paint. I got like 3 different hues and like 4 cans each.
And they're all wrong.
Probably.
I'm just kidding. Marigold yellow is my favorite. Because it seems to work for me on T6s and internationals.
I think I might actually have that down in the basement.
I think you probably do because I think that's what's it may be part of what's on that Carmagia. Dude, there's just not enough time, man.
Dude, that Carmagia, slap that thing on and roll. Just beat it up.
Yeah, I want to repaint it. I want to do my thing. Yeah, Crowder had a Scout, yes. But I haven't wanted to start on the big trimmers truck because of this 55 I want to get. I'm so close now. I mean, I'm putting in the steering wheel, painting the driver, doing my side windows close. You know, I need to print that little spacer. I think I measured it. It's going to be 20 millimeter spacer at the back, which drives me crazy because I want it on the chassis, but it doesn't work out that way on this 55. It might on your Bug because you emit the running boards.
Yeah, it probably would. Yeah, because I'm not using them.
Are you right on the
right on the bottom the chassis plate? Yeah,
that's my man.
Actually, to be honest with you, I've noticed that my black bug truck, when it's mounted on, it's actually, which way is it? It's actually tilted up in the back versus where your batteries sit on that plate. So I did a little extra work on this brown one, and it's actually almost perfectly level. I was able to drop the back end down more than what the black one is because of where the frame rails come up, where they come back and come up. I had to relieve out underneath right behind the shock tower cutout for those, and I was able to drop it down.
Yes.
I need to go do that to the black bug truck.
That's my style. That's you're living the life.
Dude, yeah, I'm literally slamming it as far as I can on this one. But the problem is now, since I use the L brackets and I have the bolts in the back, I'm stuck to that height.
Oh yeah, unless you take them off or redo the holes or what?
Yep, I'd have to elongate the holes or redo it. And
how are you setting the holes? Like when you use those L brackets at the back, how are you marking where to drill?
All I do is basically set the body on where I want it and take one L bracket and hold it up to the bottom of the bed.
You come from the inside out?
Well, no, from the outside in, and I'll take a Sharpie and I'll actually just eyeball it where I want to, and I'll use a center drill and then my drill to drill through those, and I'll do them both. I'll drill them both at the same time in my vise, so to equal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It gets me so close that
because that's as long as they're both the same, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and they are, run it through the vise, just drill them out, put them on, and then I screw them on, and then I rotate them down, put the glue on them, roll them back up with the body on it, and then make sure and I let that dry, and then I pull the body off, and then I reinforce it with the glue joint.
Right.
So it's super easy.
I was thinking about it on this one, but then I realized I couldn't lift it up in the front anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, this bug body, I think that I went a little bit hog wild on the front the front wheel wells on this one.
Later, boss.
A little more clearance than the other one does, but I don't care. This is my beater truck.
I'm going to try this time, and I started talking about it and I got off track, but with the big trimmers truck, I want to document it better than I've done any of them. And partly to answer the questions visually. Dude, when somebody wants to buy one of these, because they always do, man, which is neat. It's flattering. It's just cool.
Yep.
I mean, 500 some thousand views, cool. I mean, that's got to tell you something. Yeah, I'm pumped to see your Blazer running and get some of that footage myself.
Yep. Saturday.
I'm taking the trimmer, my little trimmers.
I was going to ask you if you were going to take that.
No, because France Park is the best closest to the desert I can get.
Yep.
And I kind of want to run that in a location like that.
Dude, that area where those little pine trees are all at, right where we parked last time.
The beach. Yeah.
In the beach right there.
All that sand.
That's where we need to do a lot of our filming of these things. Then we put the right body on, and then we go bash.
That whole walk around the quarry is just really good. I'm curious to see how grown up it is now already.
Yeah, it probably is. But I'm actually looking forward to crawling at the farthest end down where all those rocks were at.
Yes.
With these sixes, that will be a blast.
Yeah, we didn't have them last time.
Nope.
Dad got FMS LC80 the other day.
Did he get the one with the brushless motor or the brushed, or which one did he get?
He got the brushed straight axle gray Toyota or white Toyota. Yeah, man. Because he's not going to thrash on the trimmers truck, and he just wanted one. And we were talking about it. I was like, man, it's still like the best value, I think. Because
bang for the buck, for sure.
Bro, $3 bills or just over $3 bills. And if that was a Traxxas, it'd be $550.
And dude, you beat the snot out of yours down there at France Park, and it took a beating. I mean, how many times did you roll? You and Kirk both rolled that thing down that hill.
Yes.
And it didn't really break. It didn't break anything, did it?
No, a few times. One of the little fake luggage straps cracked, but it's still it didn't break off or anything.
Right.
Yeah, that thing's good.
It's a tough little wagon for the price.
It's good, and it's so funny, all this custom stuff, and I'd take a ready to run, nothing done to it, and I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
The only thing, and you know what? It's just like planes. Like once you know, and so there's things you notice as a discerning with a discerning eye.
Yep.
It just needs a little bit better drag brake. That's it.
Yep. You and Pete got me thinking about that system that he was talking about that he's going to put in his one jet. And you mentioned it'd be good in, anything. He said it'd be good in anything big.
And the Synapse stuff, the power safe.
Yeah. And, I'm tempted to pull the trigger on that and put it in that Eagle, like you said.
I tell you what, when you watch these those guys fly the big stuff, the Horizon people, you know that's what's in those planes.
Yeah.
They look dialed.
Yep.
Of course, those pilots are amazing too.
Right.
But man, they're dialed.
Well,
that new big Hawk thing,
dude,
holy
that thing's sweet.
smokes.
What was it, 160 newtons?
It's crazy. And it's big and it looks fantastic in the air.
How much is that thing?
1700, I think. Maybe more.
I would love to play with a turbine.
For what it is, that's cheap when you compare it to the other stuff. Slaps is using the Synapse. Yeah, he likes it. $29.99. Go triple time.
So is that with the turbine and everything, or is that just for the kid?
There's multiple completion levels available. I don't know which price that is.
So do you have to have your turbine, that special license to fly that?
Yes, you're supposed to have the waiver.
Gotcha.
That's the ARF with the landing gear.
Wow, for $3,000. And then what's the turbine? How much is the turbine?
Another 1600 probably.
Nice. You know, I've always thought it'd be fun to take two of those, seeing how we're talking about turbines. Take a kayak and mount two of them bastards on the back of a kayak and light them up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning out here on the river and just take a stroll upriver.
That'd be awesome.
That'd upset some people.
We're about 2 hours in. That's probably enough for, all 9 of you in here.
Total with all is about $7,000. Wow.
Fred says he's sitting on a bunch of power systems like Lyndon is. He's got 5 of the FMS brushless motor and receiver ESC combos to convert his FMS 10 scales. Did you see they got a new FMS 10 scale Land Rover, like Camel Trophy deal?
Yep. It's like the 118th or 124th scale?
Yeah, but they got a 10 scale now.
Right. No, I saw it. It's sweet looking. But you know what?
I still need to order those Relarlo tires. I want to try slightly smaller tires.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to try for sure.
I think I'll try it.
We need some options for sure.
There aren't many.
I know there's not.
Yeah, Fred, I'm into it.
I wish that FMS would have come out with a Land Rover body that was about 34 inches long.
For real. I'm just waiting for I guess I wouldn't be surprised if it never happens, but I'd love to see it. A big Traxxas. Where's the Traxxas answer to the 6 scale axial? Bro.
I'm surprised they haven't done it because
too much coffee and my mind's worn thin. I'm going to put you on solo for a minute, dude.
Copy that.
All right, dog. I'll be right back.
So yeah, so $7,000 for that Hawk. Is that for the 160 Newton turbine slap? I gotta look at this myself now. I always thought it'd be fun to have a turbine. Yeah, it's not horrible for a turbine. Because most of the turbines, you're talking $3 or $4,000, just $5,000 for just the turbine and the setup. So for $7,000 to have that ARF and everything that's a pretty good price. That's a pretty good deal. Fred, yeah, you're right. 1/6 scale would be about $2,000 coming out of Traxxas. I would be curious to see what they would offer though. And Ryan, I know last Wednesday made a comment to Pete, put a bug in his ear about adding a neutral to the SCX6 transmission, because as much as we're out in the woods with these things, and like everybody else, even, if something breaks, you got to haul it out of the woods, and they're heavy and bulky, and it would be nice to be able to put that chassis in neutral and tie a rope around it and tie a rope around your belt line and drag it out of the woods and still be able to be powered up and use the steering. Keith Christie, yeah, fired up the T-Max today. Nice. I've got a Creighton 8S roller that I built up that's sitting down in the basement collecting dust that I need to get out and exercise one of these days soon. A lot of money sitting there just collecting dust. Yeah, Fred, that is a pretty T45 scheme for sure. Welcome back to the channel.
Thanks for having me. T-Max.
Yeah, I was just commenting on that I said I need to get my expensive Creighton 8S out of the basement and dust it off and drive it one of these days.
Bro, we got a race. I have missed every Saturday so far. Race season has reopened. Like 2 or 3 Saturdays, I haven't been able to go. And I fixed up my Typhon, man. I got a buggy now and a truggy. I'm like, bro.
Francis, AAA RC Platinum Trailside Service. That's what I'm talking about.
I like it.
Fred said something about, a Traxxas 1/6 scale to answer against Axial's SCX6. That'd be expensive. And I'd be curious to see what all they would pack into that chassis. I bet it'd be awesome. But I made the comment, reason why Francis said that is made the comment that we told Pete last week that we need neutral option in these trannies, just so we could drag them out of the woods and still have them powered up and use the steering.
Yes.
That way you don't have to take time to drop drive shafts out of them.
I'm not looking forward to that day.
Nope.
Ever.
Nope. And I'm surprised, as much as we've beat these trucks since before winter, that we have not had a problem.
Yeah, I want to remember I was talking about those pins.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you put
I pressed them back in and Loctited them a little bit, but I'm gonna keep an eye on them. But I think there's got to be a way to make a retainer.
I don't know why they don't, when they get to something like this size, to even have like a small groove in that and have a snap ring that seats into that to hold that pin in place. Because, they're big.
Make it big enough to countersink it and throw a nylon locker in for one side, and then, just like a nail head on the other.
Yeah, anything to see.
Whatever, even a 2 millimeter, 1.5, whatever it takes.
Yep.
And then captive nut on the other side so it doesn't get in the way.
Is it too big to heat that up and do the solder thing on it like what you did or I did? Both of us did on the FMS chassis.
It could be done.
Because I looked at both of mine, a couple nights ago, and they're all both front axles are still how they were.
Still holding up. I think one of my solders finally failed, but there's still enough there. It's doing the job.
No, I'm talking about my SCX6s.
Oh,
I looked at both front axles, and the pins are still seated where they're from factory.
Oh, that's good. They're probably press fit and knurled in the middle of the ball.
Probably. Was that on your first chassis? So you've ran that quite a bit. So
this thing's clapped out at this point. Yeah. This is from when they were new.
Right.
And me and Bobby thrashed them for a while there before that we just parked them and started a bankruptcy business.
Right. Yeah, you got quite a bit of runtime on them. Have you looked at all, Googled it, see if there's a workaround on that?
Nope. Because I just haven't looked. And man, they're holding up. I know there's Vidavon, this and that. But
bro, it's like anything else. As soon as you start changing one thing, you got to start upgrading everything because something
metal axles.
Something that's weak is going to break behind it.
I don't need metal axle housings and carriers and stuff. Like, I think 3S second gear is enough. A little more would be better. But the reason I never broke any crawlers before, you remember back in the earlier on when we were all just doing 10 scale, I wouldn't run 3S. I only ran 2S for the longest time.
Right.
But then I saw enough of you 3S guys having wheel speed. I didn't. And I was like, I want that.
It depends on what you're doing, right? Like if you go down to the Riverwalk where we all went that one night, that's a cool place that's close to you. Those boulders down there, you don't want 3S. I mean, if you got a 2 or 3S wagon, you run 2S. You don't need, you'll break something. And it's like Kirk's, private little gig he's got in his backyard. I mean, I don't know how many times I've broke one of my trucks on his course because, I'm running too much power. So it's like, you know what? If I go over there to crawl, we all show up there. If I got a 2S option and I'm running it, I'm not doing 3S.
Yeah. I mean, it makes good sense. But at this point,
if we're out trailing like at Bago, dude, I'll take every ounce of power I can get.
Seriously.
Because there's nothing there that you can really break anything on if you throttle through it.
I think I put a 2S in that LC80 for about 5 minutes when we were at France Park last time.
Yep.
And I was like, this sucks.
Yep. I will always run 3S or 4S if I can.
It depends what you want out of it. And I think if you're new to it, you won't know the difference yet. And honestly, if you're so stuck that you need 3S to get out, just pick it up, man.
Oh, for sure. Dude, I don't know how many times I broke. What was it? I think it was, I bought it from you. What was that?
Deadbolt?
Yeah. Dude, I broke the axle. I broke a drive shaft. Dude, I broke so much stuff on that chassis just because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know when it was pinched, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it more power, and we're gonna pull out of this.
I think you gave it bigger tires and more power, but it's still 10.2.
Yeah. And
I think Kirk's had trouble with those too. Axles. Yeah. I've only broke axles on my Red Cat ever, and that was because it weighs 1 million pounds, and I was asking for it.
Yep. Yeah, Fred, you're right. Pete was actually telling Ryan and I not long ago that he pretty much runs 4S in his SCX6 chassis all the time.
The electronics are rated okay for that. It's the drive line you got to worry about.
Yep. You gotta be
careful with it. I love the idea, but I don't know why. I think I just don't want to fix stuff. So
I don't want to drag it out of the woods.
I mean, I could put 4S in it and then run it on 75%.
Yeah, you can do that. But if you're just trailing though, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah. I may have to charge one up and bring it as a spare Saturday.
Bro, I I got 4. Let me think about this. I got 4 9000 4S's sitting in here. That's what,
75% of them, bro. Let's try it.
I've been tempted to do that because you know what? With those 9000s and you go 75%, Kirk and I are running 3S 10,000s in ours, and we're getting, if you're not being stupid, we're getting almost 2.5 hours out of each one of those of runtime on these trucks.
You guys don't ever have to change your batteries, but I do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we do. There's times that I'll check mine when we get back, and I'm down to like 5 or 6%. But if you put this 4S 9000 stuff in and draw it back to 75%, dude, I bet you could probably go 2.5, 3.5 hours.
I bet you could. And you'll have more torque.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll have more torque. Yeah, man, I got to try it on one of them, I guess.
Let's not do it at France Park.
Seriously, you do it close to the truck, man, because
right. Although that beach would be a cool place on 4S at France Park, and it's right there by the truck. All right, I'm bringing 4S with me Saturday.
I think I will just for a backup if I burn through. I only have a couple, and if we're bringing 2 bodies for them.
I think I can bring. I probably got 6 or 7. What are they? 5200 3S.
Oh, bring them.
So I'm gonna load up my backpack with them and bring them for backups. But Kirk and I are both running. I think he runs a lot of 8000 3S in his 6s, but I think he's got some 10,000s too. But I've got 4 10,000 3S's, and I keep those both in each one of the chassis at all times.
I'm not sure I could fit those in my toolbox on the Ford and the 55. I got all kinds of room under the Travelall. I could run a car battery in it.
It'd be close, but yeah, I'll bring some 52. I got like five or 6 of them at least.
Because I'm limited by my wooden box now that I built.
Yep.
To fit a 5000 3S's, with a little bit of room extra for the wires and such. But
right, dude, bro, that's what you need is a little trailer to pull behind it with a couple 10,000s. Run an extension back to it.
Put you back in the trailer. Parallel harness that's like a foot long.
Yep.
Or more.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Yeah, I'm about ready to tap out of here too. It's definitely
all right, dude. Let's do it. Any last minute anything from all 7 of you? Most lackluster show on the internet, bringing the value, man.
I think it's great to have those 7 dedicated soldiers out there.
It is.
It's awesome.
It is. And folks to listen or watch it later. And it's all right. It's not for everybody.
Yeah. It's a good BS session.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. And dude, I'm excited to get video on these and get cranking on the new big trimmers, bro. The big trimmers truck's gonna be fun. And I'm gonna try to, I've been trying to throw more of the process. So I might even go back into the software and show some of the cuts. Like how the slice. I think people see these and assume you have some massive printer. It's just like everybody else's.
Right.
They're starting to get bigger.
How many of these, I got to think, how many of these SCX6 bodies I did on my little Ender?
Right.
I think I did 2 or 3 of them on my little bitty Ender.
There's a lot of 6s now that they're making buggies out of. Have you seen that?
Yep, I have.
Do you have any desire for that?
I do, and now since I'm learning the what should I say, the pipe capabilities and
yes,
in Fusion, I think it'd be cool to do a frame out of that and do a buggy chassis for sure. And because now we can design the plates for our hood, the doors, all that stuff. Make it what you want, however you want it to be, and just do something cool. A dune buggy type thing would be cool. I think it'd be cool to take the front drive shaft out of one of these trucks and put smaller tires on the front, leave bigger tires in the back, pal tires, dude, and do like a buggy style body and go down there on the beach and just rip it.
That would be cool. And man, think about these files we have and what we do to cut to make them work. If you had a buggy frame, you could cut the shit out of them.
Yep.
And make them panels.
Yep.
So like resto buggy. That's the only way you're going to get me to do one. is if it's I'm throwing a VW hood on it or something.
All right, you got my wheels spinning now. That'd be fun.
And think about that. You can make the piping, the cage work, where there's no cuts in it. It's pieces that are going to screw together in spots. And so there's no cuts or glue joints. Now, maybe your panels, but a panel on something like that would be small enough you wouldn't need them.
Right. I mean, little screws.
Oh, hey, in the click, and you could make these click downs for the tube, the pipe, where you needed them on the hood. Dink.
Oh, yeah.
Dink.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
He'll have one by tomorrow, guys. Just wait.
Jeez. Seeing how I'm on vacation tomorrow on Friday.
Ooh.
Never can tell.
No fair.
I'm actually helping Bree with her group plant the quilt garden at the museum tomorrow.
Okay.
That's like her big thing for the year. So, because those quilt gardens are kind of, they go through a whole process to be able to figure out what their design is going to be. And there's a whole backstory to these things. And it's like her big thing for the year. So I'm taking the day off tomorrow and Friday. I'm going to help her tomorrow. And then Friday I
sick.
have to do. So maybe I'll have a buggy frame put together by Friday afternoon.
You'll be green thumbing it.
Right. Got figured out.
That's what's up. Pilots, drivers, fabricators, and whiners. Thanks for coming by. I don't know. I was just looking for a rhyme, dude. Hey, thanks for coming. It's always a good time. Check us out. We're going to get out in the woods and film some of these new builds and get this trimmers truck some stick time and in front of the camera. It's looking good. And what a perfect little segue to getting started on the big one. So I'll be able to throw that footage in, and I'm going to really try to document better, like I said, that process on this. And man, Kelly, I would do it too. I think that's where the value's at. And as many people are asking about buying these things, it's like, show them a video where it's like, this is what you're going to get, dude, unless you're paying crazy money for someone to finish it.
Yep.
So this is what it starts off as. This is what it's going to be. Be prepared to do this or just enjoy the content. It's okay if it's not for you. We ought to do Land Rovers or something that's a little easier to print with less waste.
Yep.
I still want one of those. I want to see the new scale math.
We need to print out at least 2 of them.
I ordered 4 rolls of filament today.
I want another one. You want one. So I'm sure Kirk at some point will want another one. He really likes that body as well. So yeah,
I got gray and black.
Sweet. I'll order some filament too. So I'm getting pretty close to being out as well. I think I got a roll and a half of black left, and that's about it.
Dude, this guy, he's still not done yet. It's almost 12 here. Dude, it was like 134%. I printed the driver off.
Yeah, I'm not sure what mine was. I can look real quick. Because, you know, I document everything. Whenever we do something new.
Shoot, you did one already for the in your bug?
Yeah.
Can I see him from the side in your truck?
Yeah. Hang on. I'm looking to see. So
at this point, I'm close. I almost kept this guy, but I was going to have to put a booster seat under him.
So mine, Matt the driver is 133% for the bug.
I did 134.
So you'll be fine.
I'm right there. And yep. I did 117. And
hold on. Let me get
big enough.
Let me get my black bug truck body because it's easier to see.
Yeah.
Is that more what you want?
That's about right too.
Yeah, because this one's 134.
Let me see.
133.
Let me look right through the side, more like direct. Yeah, that's about right. Because I checked out some real ones, and the dude's head's cut off a little. So that's right on.
But here's the thing. The bug truck, if you look at a real Volkswagen bug truck that they're launching or supposed to, and you see somebody sitting in it, they look gigantic because the damn thing's so small.
Yep. So I think same thing with a 55.
That's why I went a little bigger because I wanted to try and be scale sitting in the smaller truck.
You're right. I think that's the right. And I'm just like 1% bigger.
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, 1% ain't nothing.
It's not. It really isn't. And the other guy I made, he's in there now, but he's not right. He needs a booster seat about 5/8 to have his head where it needs to be. You know what I mean? Not too low, little kid style.
Yep.
So I've got a few extra drivers.
Well, there you go. You got a mini Matt.
I could put the little kid version in there, yeah, because I printed off one. I printed off a handful, but I got one that is the perfect size for the CJ7, which would be like a little kid sitting in here.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, dudes, we're rolling. We're out of here in 5. Hanger Rats forever. We'll drive your truck later. You're too good to be forgotten. We'll see you next time. See us on social. Follow me on Facebook so you see what I'm up to there. Because honestly, there's a lot of stuff there. And when you follow somebody, you get to see everything that they're doing, which means if you're into the truck thing at all, you'll kind of, I guess it tells you when I do anything anywhere. I don't know. If you care about that or not, you can do it. I know I follow guys and I know everything about them now. So with that, we'll see you next time. Bye now.
See you guys.
Boom.